There are lessons, really good lessons that can be learned from failure, and Zillow's version of iBuyer called Zillow Offers, it's no different. It's hard to imagine a better test case for the real estate industry and how pricing and strategy ultimately works in the real world. In real estate, there's two camps. One loves Zillow, the other doesn't. Whichever camp you're in, some things can't be denied. Zillow is big, they're smart, they're very well funded, really good with data, and they're here to stay. If you're one of the millions of Zillow users and curious homeowners that's wondering what your home is worth, either seriously or just considering your options, getting your Zestimate was probably your first stop. I mean, why not? They make it so dang easy. The goal of the Zestimate was an accurate home valuation at the click of a mouse. The deeper goal, that was somewhat different. More on that later. The Zestimate was done by an algorithm gathering enough data points to account for enough differences to come up with a likely selling price. Some neighborhoods lend themselves to straightforward comps. Think medium density with mostly similar homes, mostly built within the last 3 decades. AVMs, or automated valuation models, are nothing new, and there's a lot of them. Honestly, I can understand why some computer dude thought housing is just a data set, and if I get good numbers going in, we'll have good numbers coming out. We can do this. The difference in all the AVMs was Zillow was willing and able to put their money where their AVM's mouth was. Very big money. In 2019, Zillow launched its iBuyer business called Zillow Offers. Zillow already had, and still does, have the market cornered on real estate website traffic by a huge margin. It nearly doubles the second place finisher, REALTOR.com. Why not bake in the ability to buy the houses of the 250 million visitors that are already on the site checking their home values directly? On paper, that's an easy sell. The seller clicks a button, Zillow sends the money, then it's simply a matter of a little paint here, a little mulch there, put it on the market, give home buyers access to tour the homes themselves. A hot market, a happy buyer, a very profitable idea. Perfect. Zillow was so confident in the Zestimate, they used it for the initial offer price for sellers. The result of that confidence was repaid by the company shutting down its iBuyer arm, laying off a quarter of its staff, and watching its stock plunge 80% from its peak value. In 2021, the Wall Street Journal says Zillow lost $881 million. That, my friend, is a lot of dollars. Rick Sharga, an executive with another monster of a real estate website called REALTY, says the Zillow iBuyer business model was flawed in that house flipping investors often pay too much initially and underestimate the time and cost of repairs to make a home ready to sell again. Zillow Offers appears to have made both mistakes, and frequently. So has Zillow tucked its tail between its legs and slinked away? Oh no, nope. They've partnered with somebody else to take the risk. More on that at the end of the video. The first lesson we get from this is an algorithm can generate numbers based on data, but has no reasoning ability. In short, a computer can give you a starting point, but then the values are adjusted based on the competition. Does your home have nicer updates? Is it close to shopping or schools? Does it smell nice? Is it well maintained by professionals or DIY? Fast fact, a DIY home usually screams DIY. Is it too close to high tension wires or railroad tracks? Is the lot flat or is it on a hill? These are just a fraction of the items that can go into pricing a home, and some aren't recognized until you see them. Improvements that raise home values aren't boxes to be checked, but benefits to be desired by a human being. And unsurprisingly, a human is needed to decipher what that is. The lesson? When a buyer has choices, they'll need to pick your home because it's the best home for them. And in their mind, the value must equal or exceed the cost. An algorithm just doesn't have the chops to figure that out. The iBuyer model was a numbers business, plain and simple. As wonderfully easy as hit and submit and get an offer sounds, in the end, the iBuyer model needed to buy low enough to ultimately sell for a profit, or the whole thing falls apart, which it did. Who's taking the financial hit for them to profit, do you think? But in a rising market, especially one as hot as recently, I'll bet they thought even if they bought close to value, it wouldn't take long for the home prices to rise to the level of profitability for the company. As a seller, it's hard to say no to a frictionless transaction, no showings, or repairs and getting what you believe is a completely fair selling price. Sellers were willing and Zillow bought homes, thousands and thousands of them. But in the end, a changing market, a volatile one at that, was the undoing of the Zillow iBuyer model. The Zillow offer model depended on a consistent linear market. Zillow CEO Rich Barton himself said, "We've determined the unpredictability in forecasting home prices far exceeds what we anticipated, and it would be naive to predict that unpredictable events won't happen in the future." He also said he is relieved the company no longer has to contend with the risk of iBuying after losing $881 million. In the end, beyond the numbers, what we learn from this is the idea that real estate is a local concern. A city of 1 million can have hundreds of neighborhoods that differ in value and suitability for every type of buyer. Square footage and fixtures mean different things in different areas. If anything consistently defines the real estate business, it's expect things to change. They always have, they always will. The lesson? In any market, being able to anticipate change is the innate human ability to respond to a gut feeling. Sometimes, like in the recent housing market, that's the best we've got, and there's no computer code for that. Don't let your algorithm make promises your butt can't keep. It turns out that Zillow created such a volume of properties to inspect, repair, and maintain once they bought them, they didn't have enough people to do the ground level work. We've heard about supply chain issues endlessly. It turns out they were short on human capital. On October 20th, 2021, Zillow said they're going to stop buying homes through Zillow offers for the rest of the year. The reasons? Due to shortage of labor and materials. They couldn't close, renovate, and resell homes fast enough. Zillow shuttered the enterprise 1 month later. The lesson? As with any business, don't bite off more than you can chew, and Zillow had quite a mouthful. In my opinion, the final lesson and the bottom line is this. Sellers were drawn to the iBuyer model mainly because it virtually eliminated uncertainty. No showings, no repairs, no pesky buyers to haggle with, and a multi-billion-dollar company with the most well-known name in the industry right there to back it up. And the fact they were overpaying for homes was just cream on top. Most sellers who want to use an iBuyer service either needs a fast and certain close, doesn't like the conflict of negotiations, or has a home that needs more work than they can afford. Ultimately, it's the convenience that they're buying, but convenience isn't free, never has been, never will be again. If you're thinking of selling to an iBuyer, just understand they must make a profit on the other side, or the Zillow lesson will be learned again. And that means selling for less than you could get from the end user, the family that really wants to buy your house. Zillow's ultimate goal is to provide a housing super app, a one-stop shop for everything real estate. They may have fallen short this time, but that hasn't stopped them from trying. They have now partnered with Opendoor. Opendoor will pay a fee for access to the millions of potential home sellers that visit Zillow every month. Opendoor is a dedicated iBuyer with a track record and will take on the risk of buying homes instead of Zillow. FYI, Opendoor has agreed to pay $62 million to settle allegations of tricking and cheating home sellers over the years. This is according to the FTC, and the report's much worse. Funny thing is, Zillow knew this going in. Probably a contract thing. If you like this video, please share it with friends to help me spread the word. Subscribe if you'd like so you know when the next one drops. As always, thanks for watching. Talk to you soon.